Everyone's looking for world-class budget bourbons, and we've created a series to reveal what our favorite budget bourbons are. So if you want to find out what this week's Budget Bourbon Banger is, then stick around. Slowing it down a little bit. Dun, dun, dun. Now my dog's like, I'm trapped. It's like, if I open that door, you are going to want right back in.
Right.
So annoying. Well, at least she's not snoring.
Right.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? This is Wes, of course, and Randy, and you're tuned into the world-famous Bourbon Real Talk show right here on the YouTubes. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our faithful patrons over on the Patreon. So if you want to find out more details about how you can join the Patreon, what the perks are, what the benefits are, and why it's so awesome, then stick around to the end of the video and you will get all the deets.
Yeah, and right now, everyone's names that are on the list are contributing at the top 3 levels. So thank a patron. We couldn't do it without you guys. So disclaimers.
Yeah, gotta have them.
Gotta have them.
In today's day and age, I mean, everything has to have a disclaimer because there's just so many haters out there.
All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit funny because this is a series, right? And so we have the same disclosures in this series. So we say every popular whiskey has a group of haters, right? If it's inexpensive and popular, there's somebody who comes along and goes, I don't drink that because it's swill and it's garbage and blah, blah, blah. And we also disclaim that it's not supposed to be the most complex whiskey in the world. We're looking for pleasant, affordable drinkers.
Absolutely.
Despite the fact that we have said this in each episode, last night I got 2 hilarious comments on the last Budget Bourbon Banger that we released.
Yeah, really?
One of them insisted that Evan Williams' 1783 or whatever is delicious, and Evan Williams' Bottle and Bond is a drain pour. It's hot garbage.
Wow, terrible.
And I'm like, okay. We very specifically said if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't need to go and tell everybody that they're wrong for liking it.
Right.
And also what you have said is completely illogical because they are the exact same whiskey.
Different.
Just different proofs, maybe a little bit different aging. Maybe they come from a different area of the warehouse. But
maybe that guy's palate is just so sophisticated.
Right. He's like got the most sophisticated palate in the world.
He can tell between a Bottle and Bond and a 1783, and it's just like, it's just not superior.
Fred Minnick, go sit down. This dude,
this guy knows
he is the guy.
I would like to encourage him to start his own show.
He should do that.
He should do it. And really, I would subscribe just to see your expertise in action.
And another guy just got in there and was like, Evan Williams' Bottle and Bond is hot garbage. And I was like, you should honestly watch videos before you comment on them. So if you're out there and you see what this week's Budget Bourbon Banger is and you go, you know what? I think that's terrible. That's cool. Now, if you want to get in the comments, we're going to make this a...
We love the comments.
We do love the comments. And we're going to teach you how to be a useful member of the whiskey enthusiast community.
A quick little education.
Let's say that you have had this whiskey and you don't like it.
Okay.
What you don't need to do is get in the comments and say, if you like this whiskey, then you're a terrible person and your palate sucks and I hope your kids die of cancer and all of that stuff. You don't need to say any of that.
You don't need to go crazy.
All you got to do is go in there and say, I appreciate it that you like this whiskey, but when I try it, I don't like it because of X.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yes, that's all you got to do.
You don't have to tell other people.
That makes you sound way more intelligent.
Right.
That way.
And you don't have to tell anybody else what they're supposed to think.
Right.
You should only talk about what you think about the whiskey.
Right, because that's what this video is. What we think about this whiskey.
We might be wrong.
Right.
I've been wrong.
And when you have your own YouTube channel, you can talk about what you think about.
What you want to talk about.
You can do whatever you want. But when we hang out here, we like everyone to be kind, be nice, and give useful feedback if you're going to give it at all.
Yeah. Remember that one time I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken? Anyways.
You were wrong.
Yeah. I was wrong, but I was also mistaken about
being wrong. And then you were
wrong.
mistaken about being wrong.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. So it's like, I was right and wrong at the same time.
It's crazy.
It goes both directions. It's so weird.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. All right.
What is this week's one? Okay, let's just let's get past all that.
All right.
Let's get to the meat of the potatoes right here. What is this week's Budget Bourbon Banger?
All right, let's see. We have the OGD. Old Granddad.
Wow.
And we're going to include Bottle and Bond and 114 in this.
Okay.
I happen to not have the Bottle and Bond bottle because I drank it. Because I like it. And I have so many old Granddad 114s that I did not replace.
Gotta keep a staple of those.
Yeah. So let's talk about the history here. Kind of interesting history.
All right.
So this is named after Meredith Basil Hayden Sr., who was born in 1743, immigrated to Kentucky in 1785. He was moving from Maryland to Kentucky and lost...
Oh, is it he? Meredith?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he lost, this is crazy, 4 of his 9 children immigrating to Kentucky. And he went on to have 6 more. Wow. He had a total of 15 kids. He started a distillery in 1788, and he passed away in 1804. And his grandson, Raymond, launched the Old Granddad name in 1882.
Wow.
And so what's interesting about Old Granddad is that it's been in continuous production since 1882. Because it was sold as medicinal whiskey during Prohibition.
So it is an OG.
It is an OG. And this one actually has kind of a special place in my heart because Raymond, who launched the Old Granddad brand, actually did commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
And for those of you who are not familiar with the channel and its mission, I lost my brother to suicide, and this channel spends a lot of time, energy, and effort working on mental health and suicide prevention and intervention. And so that backstory, he did take his life shortly after he launched the brand in 1882. He died in 1885. But because it got passed on to a company that ended up getting a medicinal producer's license during Prohibition, continuous operation. So kind of interesting.
Now, this is why it's near and dear to my heart. Aside from that, that's a great tidbit that I didn't even know. So that's what this show's here for. Teach you a little stuff.
Little something.
But I love this because it comes from my favorite distillery.
That's right.
Of all time.
And
that is Jimothy Beam.
Jimothy Beam.
Jim Beam Distillery in the Kentucky. And they produce all the bangers that I love.
Yeah.
The Knob Creeks. And I do love some Basil Hayden, but I love the 114.
Yeah.
So good.
And so the SKUs we're specifically talking about are Old Granddad Bottled and Bond, which comes in more of a wine bottle shape. And then this guy, which is the 114.
Little squatty bottle.
I like it. It is aged at least 4 years. And do you know how we know it's aged at least 4 years? It's not because it's age stated. It doesn't say on the bottle.
Yeah.
But how do we know it's aged at least 4 years?
Because it's a bourbon.
Well, because it's Bottled and Bond.
Okay.
So Bottled and Bond has to be aged at least 4 years. And if it is a mash bill whiskey and it doesn't have an age statement, it has to be at least 4 years old.
I gotcha.
Now, you can have a straight bourbon that's 2 years old, but you have to say how old it is if it's less than 4.
And those Bottle and Bond regulations are pretty strict.
Some
really
would
cool.
argue the strictest spirits regulations.
You know what? I started to chuckle.
I
started chuckling when we were talking about the bottle because it's got like this wide mouth top to it, and I don't know how many times I've gone to pour myself a little pour, and all of a sudden my glass full. It's like boom. So you got to be careful when you're pouring yourself out of this thing because you'll get a glass full in a hurry. Yeah. The mash bill on this one is 27% rye. So 63% corn, 27% rye, 10% malted barley. Okay.
And it's the high rye mash bill from Jim Beam because Basil was known for high rye whiskey. He just thought that it tasted better. The proofs on these 2 releases are 100 proof for the Bottle and Bond. Obviously, that's the legal requirement. And this is called 114 because it is 114 proof. The prices are $21 for Bottle and Bond and $23 for the 114.
That's why it's a banger.
And that's part of the reason why it's a banger. Both bottles are $7.50.
Yeah.
So what do you say we taste it up?
I've been tasting it up. Sorry.
Yeah, I was drinking a little
I couldn't help but taste it.
We got to warm up, you know. We don't
warm up the palate.
The palate, and also we don't get the good outtakes unless we've had a little whiskey.
You want us to warm up, trust me.
Welcome back to Pretentious Whiskey Reviews. Today we're evaluating the 1982 Pappy Van Winkle. Ooh. I'm detecting a hint of Bolivian virgin tears and West Indian grasses.
Y'all, you don't need all that crap. All you need is an American whiskey aroma kit from bourbonreview.com. Developing your palate is a learned skill. Over time, you can train your taste buds without being a douchebag. Get yours today at bourbonreview.com.
I'm also getting Indian nutmeg.
But one thing that impresses me about the OGD is that I'm not typically a higher rye content guy. But this I absolutely love. It almost, like when I take a tasting note from this, it's like cinnamon, but like a spicier cinnamon. Like a little bit of those spices and cooking, baking spices mixed in with that.
Yeah.
That kind of transition it from like a fireball-ish whiskey. That's not what I'm talking about. But like when I say spicy, I'm thinking more of those
like Christmas and Thanksgiving flavors.
Yeah, like holiday spices that you would get with a holiday dinner.
I think it's the easiest descriptor would be like clove and nutmeg.
Yes.
You know, something that you would have like in pumpkin pie.
That's
right?
it. Yep.
And of course, there's plenty of vanilla, but there is that classic Jim Beam nuttiness.
I do love the nuttiness.
And I think that might be the reason that some people try this and it's not for their palate. They may not like that nutty flavor, but as long as you're not turned off by a peanutty taste to your whiskey, I think this one's going to be a pretty solid for you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's again affordable, and it's a price point like a 114 proof whiskey at $21, $23, somewhere in that range is almost impossible to find that tastes good.
Yeah.
Right? And this is like to have a bottle, you don't understand the regulations with bottled and bond. It's more expensive to produce a bottled and bond. And to produce whiskey at this price point, at that proof point, is just incredible.
A new distillery would never be able to come even close to this.
Yeah, a new distillery that puts out a 114 proof bottled and bond or a bottle and bond is going to have the bottle on the shelf for $40-$50 at least, at minimum.
At least. All right, so let's do a giveaway.
Let's do it. Should we do all the Jim Beam favorites?
I figured, we just throw out, because, when we do these bottom shelf bangers, I don't want the viewers to be like, oh, I could go to the store and buy that for $21. I don't care about winning the sample. So I decided, let's throw in some of the higher end, harder to find bottles that are made by the same distillery. Okay, so we're going to do 5 winners on this one.
Okay.
You're going to get 1 ounce of each of the following whiskeys. Obviously, Old Grandad 114.
Yep.
And
what else should we do?
Booker's Apprentice Batch.
Ooh, got that right here. One of my faves, Booker's. Again, the reason I love Jim Beam is because the Booker's stuff is so good. I've never had a bad Booker's.
Right.
Never.
And then Knob Creek 18-year-old.
Okay. We got
which is one of Wes's favorites.
Yes, it is. Don't even have one.
Wes gave me my first sip of Knob Creek 18 when it first came out.
Yep.
And not to leave out the rye, so that we represent all the mash bills, we are going to have
Old Overholt.
Old Overholt.
And this is the cash strength.
The cash strength
10
year rye.
I think I'm going to enter this one, actually.
Yeah, you should.
Because these are all the ones that I would love to sip on over the next few weeks.
Yeah, now tell them what they have to do to enter to win.
Well, this is what I'm going to do to enter to win, and you should do the same thing. You should like the video right away. Easy to do. Click the thumbs up. Next, you want to subscribe. And then while you're there, ring the bell for notifications, because you want to know when these episodes come out, because we do a giveaway every single episode. Some of these giveaways are expensive, nice, high-end bourbons, and sometimes it's just a great selection of some affordable bourbons like these. So you want to ring the bell so that you're notified of future episodes. Last thing you need to do is you need to go to the description, click the form in the giveaway section, and that'll take you to a web form that you'll just put your basic contact info. We'll use that info in a randomized giveaway raffle drawing thing online, and we'll post those results for you, and hopefully you're our winner, and we'll be able to reach out to you and send you your samples absolutely free.
Yep. And if you like this content and you want to help support the channel, you could look into Patreon. We have a lot of member benefits, so it's not just about you making a donation, although a lot of people, when we surveyed, said that's why they do it.
Right.
But we do have special offers and bonus content. We do trips together called Distillery Takeovers.
Oh yeah.
Single barrel selections. We do some in-person meetups as I travel around for the Prideful Goat. We do monthly virtual bottle shares. You get discounts in any merchandise from the website, plus the satisfaction of knowing you're supporting the channel and its mission.
Speaking of discounts on merch, the merch on the website is phenomenal. It's curated by whiskey lovers for whiskey lovers. Lindsay, Chrissy Lynn, the crew here at the shop, they do a great job of getting that merch curated, designed. Randy has an idea for a whiskey thing, an accessory of any kind, floats it out there to Lindsay, she makes it happen.
Yep.
And so there's tons of good stuff on there. So go to bourbonrealtalk.com and check out the apparel, the accessories, the goodies, the gifts, whatever you're looking for, you can find it right there.
Yeah, and shameless real estate plug. I'm a real estate agent. I practice in the Dallas and Houston metro areas. I do give away epic bottles as closing gifts. And the real estate company's always supported this channel. And so if you want to help support the channel and you need a real estate agent, I'd love to interview for the job.
Yeah.
And we always make a point to let people know what our show philosophy is, because yes, whiskey's great. But if you wanted to get drunk, you could just drink vodka. We like whiskey because it seems to have a connective power to bring people together. And sometimes even people that wouldn't have likely interacted with each other because they come from different ideological views.
Right.
And that's something that's important to me because I lost a loved one to suicide. And I was looking for opportunities to create the kinds of connections that my brother was missing in his life whenever he decided to leave this world. And I saw whiskey doing that. And so I thought maybe if I got you connected to whiskey would do the rest of the job and get you connected to others. And if you're going to have connection, you do have to have a forum. And unfortunately, a lot of the forums are filled with some negativity and hateful comments. And so we started our own, where we don't allow that, called Bourbon Real Talk Community. There's about 31,000 members in there right now. And
it's on Facebook,
It's on Facebook, and it's free.
Yeah.
And great things going on in there, things far beyond just learning about whiskey. So that's something you can check out. And because of the success of that platform, we were able to start a suicide prevention nonprofit called Live Stay Project. It's all administered inside the Bourbon Real Talk family. And so that has been a real blessing to us and the extended community to know that we're able to make a difference, and it's not just about the brown water.
Yeah.
Seeing all of those trolls out there, though, being hateful, they motivated us to do a lot of positive things. But they also taught me a very important lesson. That is, if they can hate a stranger online, there's nothing that keeps me from loving a stranger online. And that's why we end every episode the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that we love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk. Cheers.
Cheers.
Because it's... Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, see. All right.
I think that was a short joke.
I was like trying to read down here.
So for those of you at home, we have a teleprompter, and you can adjust the angle of the teleprompter. And if you're just a little guy like me, it's fine when it's angled down. But if you're a great big beast of a man like Wes,
Randy can always read the teleprompter.
Then you can't see it.
Budget Bourbon Banger.
Budget Bourbon Banger.
Budget Bourbon Banger.
Rubber baby bubby bubber
bumpers.
Bumpers.
Buggies.
I'm going to do that one more time. And so we created our own forum called Bourbon Real Talk Community. Sorry.
We've only been filming for what, like 8 years? And we still don't know how to silence the phones. That's cool.
I'm not.
That was the most perfect show philosophy I've ever heard, and now it's ruined.
No, I'm gonna pull it back together.
You're gonna do it even better?
I don't know if it'll be better.
That was close. That was close. I had a tear in my eye.
What was the thing I was saying right before? I was saying something about...
You need a forum.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm testing my new whiskey glass that I had designed.
Why?
Well, there's a company out there that's a real Cairn, and she threatened to sue us.
Really? You don't say.
Yeah, so we had been producing some traditional tulip-shaped whiskey glasses.
Oh, yes.
We never used the name.
Right, of course.
But they claimed to own the shape of the glass. And since I'm just a little guy, I couldn't fight.
Right.
But do you know what that motivated us to do, Wes?
What?
To go out and design a glass that was actually made for high-proof American spirits. So the company that had the problem with us, their glass was originally designed for low-proof Scotch whiskey.
Oh, okay.
80, 86 proof, that type of thing. And you know what I had noticed? Every time I would nose a really high-proof, high-quality spirit in the United States out of this glass, all I got was ethanol burn.
Yeah, a little burn there. I felt that.
And so we went out and we designed this glass that's actually designed for those higher-proof spirits. And I'm so confident in this glass that if anybody were to go to our website and buy one, I'm offering a money-back guarantee.
Wow.
If you get that glass to your house and you find yourself one of these traditional tulip-shaped glasses and you nose a high-proof spirit side by side and you can't tell the difference, I will gladly give you your money back.
So what you're saying is they can really stick it to the Cairn and support the little guy by going to bourbonrealtalk.com and ordering one of these with absolutely no risk. They could get their money back if they don't prefer it nosing it to the other?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you love small business and you like sticking it to Cairns, that's the way to go.
Stick it to Cairn. bourbonrealtalk.com.
Cheers.